Welcome to Late Start Piano. My name is Josh LaFleur. Today we're going to be going over the F sharp major scale or G flat major scale, whichever way you want to think about it. Some of the unique characteristics that this scale has, and I'm going to show you how to improvise off of it pretty easily. So if you don't know, we'll go with the G flat major since that's what this is going to show. G flat major scale is G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F, and G flat. So everything is flat in the scale except for the F. F is natural, every other note is flat, okay? So what we can do with this is, if you notice, the first degree, second degree, third degree, fifth degree, and sixth degree of the scale are all black keys. And I'm pointing out the first, second, third, fifth, and sixth because that's the pentatonic scale within the degrees, right? So if we wanted to play a C pentatonic scale, C major pentatonic, we do the first degree, second, third, fifth, and sixth. That would be the C pentatonic scale using those scale degrees. If we wanted to do a G flat pentatonic, it's just all the black keys. So the good thing about that is you can improvise off of it pretty easily, even with the chords in the left hand, because you're only hitting the black keys. And any black key you hit, doesn't matter the chord that you're playing in the left hand, it's going to sound pretty good, because whenever you play off that pentatonic scale, that is a perfect beginner's scale to use to improvise off of, because there are really no bad notes. When you start mixing in the fourth degree and the seventh degree, that's when you can start having notes that don't sound as clear as just using the pentatonic. So when you're improvising over a solo, you want to think about that first, second, third, fifth, and sixth degree of whatever scale you're playing in. And as long as you play chords built up of that, and the melody in your right hand doesn't change either, you'll be able to improvise off of that pretty well. That one I used a couple seventh degrees, but you understand the idea. Another thing about this as well, again, you can use any chords in the left hand with whatever melody you want in the right hand. The cool thing about this F sharp or G flat major scale is that it's the only scale where you can really forget about all the other notes and only play the black keys. Because you could say, well, why can't you do this in C major, right? C major is all the white keys, so why doesn't this work in C major? It does work in C major, but it's not as easy to see because the B and the F are also white keys, but those two notes are not part of the C major pentatonic. So it's easier to hit those wrong notes, quote unquote, because they're not part of the scale. And it's easier to hit a note that doesn't sound as good. Like if we're improvising off this C major scale, so far we're good, so far we're good. But then if we play something like this, because we're using that B, F, that B diminished, it's not going to sound as pretty, it's not going to sound as smooth. So you kind of have to think about that if you're doing this in C major with all the white keys. But in F sharp or G flat major, you're only playing the black keys. So every black key is perfect, where in C major there are some incorrect white keys, right, F and B. But in F sharp or G flat major, there are no incorrect black keys. You can literally hit any of the black keys that you want and it will sound good. So we can just improvise. Something like that, completely improvised, and I'm just playing black notes, so it's very easy to do. You can do it that way. You can do kind of like just start off with just soloing. So just soloing in the right hand. Just seeing what you can come up with. Then maybe you can start playing around with the chords in the left hand. And again, as long as you're playing only black keys, everything's going to sound pretty good. So that's the cool trick about the scale. Once you know the pentatonic scale, you know those 5 notes. And if you feel comfortable with playing only the black notes, that's what's really cool about this, is you really don't have to think at all. So even if this is your first day at the piano, you've never touched the piano before, if someone tells you, okay, play the black notes only, play only black notes, whatever you choose, they're going to be able to understand that, and they're going to be able to do that. If this is your first day, you can see the black notes, and you can press down on them, and it doesn't matter what order, what rhythm, anything that you do, it's going to sound decent, right? So that's a cool trick, a cool, I guess, hack you can say that you want to use if you're improvising. I would actually suggest, if you are trying to get better at improvising as well, that you don't start with C major, because you can have those F and B, which you kind of have to think about as far as how you want to use those in the scale. It takes a little bit more brain power and a little bit more effort, a little bit more skill. But if you're only playing the black keys, it really doesn't take anything at all. So you can kind of play around with all the black keys. Until you find something that you like, and then of course you can transpose that into other keys, which maybe I'll make a separate video about. But this is a cool improvisation technique, a cool scale to use, because F sharp or G flat, a lot of people they might be intimidated by it because there's so many black keys. There's only one white key, right? That F natural, or only one natural, I should say, in the scale. But it actually makes it a lot easier to improvise because you're cutting out all of the other choices, so it's much easier to kind of follow along and just have fun. You don't have to think about anything. You just play around and go from there. So I hope that helps. Any questions, comments, let me know. I am offering lessons right now via Zoom. To get started with those, send me an email. Link to that is down below. I also have a completely free PDF that has 34 essential tips for the adult beginner piano player to get you playing piano as fast as humanly possible. That's completely free. Link to that is down below in the description. My name is Josh, and have a great rest of your day.